Christmas, 1957, Silver Trees shimmer, Bing Crosby hums, and a red and white Betty Crocker cookbook waits open on the counter. Inside, pages once guided a nation's holiday tables, now yellowed, forgotten, and silent. These were not just recipes. They were memories: glazed hens, spiced veal, roasted goose shimmering with orange and clove. Somewhere between the rise of frozen dinners and fast food, an era vanished. Tonight, we reopen those pages to taste the warmth, the wonder, and the lost Christmas dinners of 1950s America. It was the mid-1950s, and American kitchens hummed with promise. The chrome-trimmed oven glowed, the radio queued up holiday carols, and the spare copy of Betty Crocker's picture cookbook lay open on the Formica counter. Within its red and white pages was a dish that spoke of elegance and festivity, a Cornish game hen glazed with apricot ginger sauce. Each tiny bird, golden roasted, boded a story of post-war aspiration, serving not just dinner, but a moment of refined celebration. The recipe called for hens halved or whole, brushed, roasted until crisp, then bathed in a glaze of apricot preserves, fresh ginger, a splash of soy or wine, and a final brushing to lock in sheen and sweetness. The glaze did more than coat the skin, it transformed the act of carving into theater. Guests leaned in. The steam rose. The first slice revealed tender meat, fragrant with fruit and spice. But as the decades passed, the tiny hen vanished from holiday tables. The showpiece roasts and convenience mains took over. Yet when you bring this dish back, you are not just cooking, you are reclaiming a ritual. A moment when someone announced, "Tonight we feast," by carrying in a dish that glowed like gift wrap in the lamplight. If you prepare this glazed Cornish hen with apricot ginger sauce, you are resurrecting that moment. You are serving history, taste, and memory all at once. The table will feel different, wrapped in nostalgia, yet alive in the present. The holiday season in mid-century America brought a type of elegance that we seldom see today, a main dish that declared, "This is Christmas." Enter the pork roast holiday style, stuffed with prunes and apricots, glistening under the glow of tree lights and chrome kitchen fixtures. In the pages of mid-1950s home economics manuals and beloved cookbooks, this dish stood as a bridge between tradition and flair. Butter-soft boneless pork loin is gently butterflied, the cavity filled with sweet prunes and tart apricots, fruits that whispered luxury in an era just rising from wartime rationing. According to vintage recipe archives, dried fruits and savory roasts became a marker of post-war prosperity. The roast is then tied, seasoned, and slow roasted until the juices flow and aromas drift across the table. The final flourish, a glaze of apricot preserves or apricot juice reduction, catching every glint of candlelight. Behind every slice lies a story, the handwritten margin notes in the cookbook, the aunt who brought this to the table each year, the children leaning in for their first taste. It was not simply dinner, it was ritual, nostalgia, an affirmation that times had changed for the better. Yet this dish faded as convenience crept in. The grand roasts lost ground to simpler mains, and the art of stuffing with dried fruits was relegated to memory. When you serve this pork roast today, you are doing more than cooking, you are resurrecting a moment. You are telling your table that this evening matters. The prune apricot stuffing becomes more than flavor, it becomes story. And in every bite, the past whispers, "Welcome home for the holidays." In the humble American kitchen of the 1950s, some dishes did more than satisfy hunger, they announced celebration. Imagine the centerpiece, a whole duck, golden brown, its skin crackling under warm bulb light, draped beside silver tinsel and vinyl holiday placemats. This was duck à l'orange with cranberry glaze. A dish rarely seen now, but once cast in the glossy pages of mid-century cookbooks and the annual holiday table. The concept: roast a duck until the fat renders and the skin blisters to crisp perfection. Then bathe it in a glaze of tart cranberry juice and fresh orange, a swirl of honey, perhaps a touch of ginger or clove. The cranberries bring sharpness, the orange brings brightness. According to modern recreations of the vintage motif, this kind of glaze was used to give holiday poultry a flourish of color and flavor. Picture the moment: the oven door opens, a wave of steam and citrus-sweet aroma pours into the room. A platter is carried in. Children pause. Adults lean forward. The carving fork glints. That glaze catches the light. It is not just food, but ceremony. So why did it vanish? Post-war convenience, large turkeys replacing game birds, and simpler glazes overtook the elaborate. But when you serve this dish now, you are doing more than cooking. You are resurrecting a holiday act: the slow roast, the carving, the gathering. You are calling forth the past on your own table. If you decide to prepare this duck with cranberry orange glaze, know this: you are not just offering dinner, you are crafting a memory, one that whispers of chrome kitchens, vinyl placemats, and the warmth of family wrapped in celebration. In the warm glow of a 1950s holiday kitchen, amid chrome counters and pastel linoleum, a dish once quietly stole the show: the turkey roulade with sage apple filling. While large turkeys dominated the table, this rolled roast offered a surprise: a spiral of tender white meat, apples, and sage peeking through each slice, the kind of elegant twist home cooks adored. A recipe like this appeared in mid-century cookbooks as a way to serve turkey in a refined, space-saving form. Picture a boneless turkey breast or lean turkey loin, butterflied and spread out flat. A fragrant filling of chopped apples, fresh sage leaves, sautéed onions and breadcrumbs is spread across the surface. Then it is tightly rolled, tied with twine, and roasted until the skin is golden brown and the aroma of sage and apple drifts through the air. The slices that emerge reveal a swirl of color and flavor: sweet apple, herb-laden sage, moist turkey, all framed by the crisp outer roast. In homes of the era, this dish stood for ambition and practicality. It provided the spectacle of a roast with less fuss, perfect for smaller families or mid-century kitchens where presentation mattered as much as portion size. Each slice invites a moment of celebration, a carving ceremony without the large bird. Yet as decades rolled on, simpler mains and convenient roasts edged out rituals like these. When you serve this turkey roulade today, you are doing more than cooking. You are reviving a gesture of mid-century holiday pride. You carry in the platter, you slice the spiral, you let guests glimpse apples and sage nestled in turkey folds. You remind them that dinner was once performance and memory, not just nourishment. Serve it with buttered green beans or a chestnut mushroom side, and you will taste the return of a tradition. The turkey roulade with sage apple filling is not just a dish, it is a rediscovered story from a kitchen where family, flavor, and ritual met. It's Christmas Eve, 1958. The air smells of cloves and sugar, Bing Crosby hums on the radio, and in the center of the chrome-rimmed table stands the true star of the night, a honey-glazed ham, jeweled with pineapple rings and ruby maraschino cherries. This was the symbol of post-war prosperity. After years of rationing, families longed for abundance, something golden, aromatic, and sweet enough to taste like success. Betty Crocker, Better Homes and Gardens, and Good Housekeeping all featured this recipe, a shimmering roast that said, "We made it." The ham was first scored in diamonds, each corner pierced with a clove. A syrup of honey, brown sugar, mustard, and a dash of ginger was brushed on until the meat glistened. Then came the decorative touch, pineapple slices pinned with cherries, basted in the drippings as the glaze caramelized into a sticky amber shell. When it emerged from the oven, the surface crackled like candy. It wasn't just food, it was performance. Mothers in crisp aprons carried it to the table like a trophy, the scent mingling with evergreen and candle wax. Each slice shimmered with glaze, each bite balancing smoky salt with bright fruit and spice. Over time, the ritual faded. Canned hams and instant mixes replaced slow glazing, and the art of this mid-century masterpiece slipped into memory. Yet when you recreate it, the past returns, the laughter, the radio static, the warm glow of the dining room. This honey-glazed ham with spiced pineapple rings isn't just a meal. It's a time machine, one that takes you back to when Christmas dinner was more than a feast, it was a feeling. In a 1950s festive dinner scene, chrome appliance gleam, tree lights softly twinkling, and home cooks in pastel aprons, one dish loomed large in ambition, the beef Wellington with Madeira sauce. In that era of post-war optimism, when the American holiday table was a stage, this puff pastry-wrapped fillet said, "This is not everyday dinner. This is a celebration." At its core, the dish combines a center-cut beef tenderloin, seasoned and seared, wrapped in a layer of mushroom duxelles and sometimes pâté, then enveloped in golden puff pastry. While the exact original mid-century variant may not appear verbatim in every 1950s cookbook, references show that by the 1950s and 1960s, beef Wellington was becoming emblematic of dinner party flair in America. The Madeira sauce, rich, slightly sweet, fortified wine-based, was poured gently over the platter, its dark ruby hue contrasting against the golden pastry and the succulent slices of beef within. Imagine this moment: the oven door opens, a hush falls. The platter is carried in, steam rising off the crust. The first slice reveals a rosy interior, mushrooms at the edge, pastry crisp at the rim. Guests lean in, the Madeira sauce glistens. This dish spoke of effort, taste, and gathering. Yet as convenient mains proliferated, faster roasts, casseroles, frozen entrees, the beef Wellington faded from many home holiday tables. Its complexity and cost made it less accessible. But when you serve it now, you are reviving ritual and showmanship. You are placing a dish on the table that demands attention and rewards savory patience. If you choose to cook this beef Wellington with Madeira sauce, you are not just preparing dinner, you are resurrecting a moment in culinary history. A dish wrapped in pastry, soaked in tradition, and draped in celebration. Let your table become that stage again. In the softly lit holiday kitchens of 1950s America, where vinyl tablecloths shimmered under the glow of aluminum Christmas trees, the centerpiece of a grand dinner was more than meat, it was theater. Enter chicken Kiev with parsley butter filling. Though the recipe's origins trace to French and Russian cuisine, by the mid-20th century it found its place in American home economics cookbooks as a symbol of elegance and celebration. The dish began with a boneless chicken breast, pounded thin, then rolled around a square of richly seasoned herb butter, parsley, garlic, a whisper of tarragon, sealed tight, breaded, and baked or fried until the coating turned golden. When sliced at the table, the molten butter streamed like a secret revealed. Families leaned forward, the tinkle of silverware paused, as the first cut released a fragrant puff of steam and buttery warmth. This was not everyday fare. It carried a message: this meal matters. Served often alongside peas in butter, delicate mashed potatoes, and a classic green salad, the chicken Kiev became shorthand for mid-century holiday sophistication. But as the decades rolled on, convenience altered the stage. Frozen dinners replaced the roll and sear ritual, casseroles and simple roasts filled the table. The dish drifted into memory. If you serve chicken Kiev today, you do more than cook, you resurrect a moment. You invite that hush of anticipation, that reveal of butter, that communal leaning in. The plated bird becomes a statement that tonight, dinner is not just eaten, it is shared, celebrated, remembered. In the post-war kitchens of 1950s America, holiday dinners often aspired to spectacle. One dish that brought both novelty and nostalgia to the table was the salmon mousse in aspic with dill garnish. This mold creation, served cold and shimmering, captured the era's fascination with gelatin, seafood, and elegant presentation. According to a vintage recipe archive, salmon mousse, chopped smoked salmon, cream, aspic jelly, folded in whipped cream and egg whites, created a dish set in a decorative mold and topped with peas or dill. Imagine the moment. The chrome oven has nothing to do with this dish, it was prepared ahead, chilled, glistening under the buffet lights. The mold is inverted, revealing a pale pink mousse shaped like a fish or dome, sliced carefully with silver utensils. The garnish of fresh dill or thin lemon slices reflects candlelight, while guests exchange impressed glances. In that time, it wasn't just about taste, it was about presentation and the confidence to serve something unusual. Yet as cooking moved toward fresh ingredients and faster techniques, the mold salmon mousse faded into obscurity. It felt too retro, too elaborate, too rooted in the canned goods era. But bringing it back is more than nostalgia, it is a statement. When you serve it today, you are reviving a piece of culinary theatre, the chill of the aspic, the smooth texture of the mousse, the flourish of garnish, and the shared wonder of something that seems both familiar and forgotten. If you decide to prepare this dish, know you are offering more than dinner, you are offering a conversation piece, a memory revived, a moment of mid-century charm. Let your table reflect the past, with each slice shimmering and each guest leaning in to discover what was once a holiday marvel. In the post-war kitchens of 1950s America, holiday dinners often aspired to spectacle. One dish that brought both novelty and nostalgia to the table was the salmon mousse in aspic with dill garnish. This mold creation, served cold and shimmering, captured the era's fascination with gelatin, seafood, and elegant presentation. According to a vintage recipe archive, salmon mousse, chopped smoked salmon, cream, aspic jelly, folded in whipped cream and egg whites, created a dish set in a decorative mold and topped with peas or dill. Imagine the moment. The chrome oven has nothing to do with this dish, it was prepared ahead, chilled, glistening under the buffet lights. The mold is inverted, revealing a pale pink mousse shaped like a fish or dome, sliced carefully with silver utensils. The garnish of fresh dill or thin lemon slices reflects candlelight, while guests exchange impressed glances. In that time, it wasn't just about taste, it was about presentation and the confidence to serve something unusual. Yet as cooking moved toward fresh ingredients and faster techniques, the mold salmon mousse faded into obscurity. It felt too retro, too elaborate, too rooted in the canned goods era. But bringing it back is more than nostalgia, it is a statement. When you serve it today, you are reviving a piece of culinary theatre, the chill of the aspic, the smooth texture of the mousse, the flourish of garnish, and the shared wonder of something that seems both familiar and forgotten. If you decide to prepare this dish, know you are offering more than dinner. You are offering a conversation piece, a memory revived, a moment of mid-century charm. Let your table reflect the past, with each slice shimmering and each guest leaning in to discover what was once a holiday marvel. In the heart of a 1950s holiday kitchen, where vinyl tablecloths gleamed under the sparkle of aluminum trees and the radio played carols on loop, one roast quietly spoke of refinement, the lamb leg crowned with rosemary garlic crust and finished with a Dijon mint drizzle. This dish was more than meat, it was a declaration that Christmas dinner was elevated, modern, and memorable. After roasting to a perfect blush, the lamb was allowed to rest while a mint-infused drizzle, fresh mint chopped, vinegar or lemon juice, a touch of sugar, was whisked to bring brightness to the rich meat. The scene: the platter emerges from the oven, steam curling, the rosemary still green, garlic aroma filling the room. Guests lean forward as the first slice is carved, pink inside, golden crust outside, a splash of mint drizzle catching the tabletop light. It feels like a memory you did not quite live but deeply recognize. Over the decades, convenience foods and simpler mains pushed this kind of showpiece roast aside. Yet by reviving this lamb leg today, you are doing more than cooking, you are reclaiming ritual. You are carving again, pouring that herb bright drizzle, leaning in together. Serve with buttery peas or roasted autumn vegetables. In every tender slice, you carry forward the story of an era when dinner was theater, flavor was emotion, and the table was where the family gathered to remember. A luxe cut for the era, a bone-in lamb leg was trimmed, scored, and studded with garlic and rosemary sprigs. A paste of Dijon mustard, garlic, and herbs was rubbed into every crevice. Recipes from vintage archives show mustard and fresh herbs were key to holiday roasts as early as the 1950s. In the hushed glow of a 1950s holiday kitchen, chrome-trimmed oven, vinyl red-checked tablecloth, soft radio carol playing, one dish quietly stood apart: rabbit in mustard cream sauce with winter vegetables. This entree embodied a moment of elevated home cooking, an ingredient once humble, transformed through sauce and ritual into something special. While not every household served rabbit, mid-century cookbooks and women's magazine spreads did feature variants of rabbit braised or roasted with a mustard cream sauce, symbolizing refinement at home. The signature, rabbit pieces browned, simmered in a blend of white wine or broth, Dijon or whole grain mustard, heavy cream, and herbs until tender. On the side, glazed carrots, parsnips, and pearl onions, winter vegetables from the cellar or root bin. Imagine the moment: the oven door opens, a gentle hiss. The rabbit, golden on the outside, emerges on a deep china platter. The mustard cream sauce glistens, thick and fragrant, parsley flecks dance across the surface. The vegetables, orange carrots, ivory parsnips, circle the meat, steam rising. Guests pause. The carving begins. This was not casual dinner. This was holiday elevated. Why did it fade? As convenient roasts and casseroles gained ground, the time and technique-heavy rabbit dishes slipped from menus. Rabbit itself became less common in American supermarkets. But bringing this dish back today is more than cooking, it is reclaiming elegance and ritual. By serving rabbit in mustard cream sauce with winter vegetables, you are reviving a table where attention mattered, where ingredients told a story. If you choose to cook this dish, you are not simply offering dinner. You are creating a moment: slow braise, warm sauce, vegetables glistening under soft light, family gathered. You are whispering a message from the past. Holiday dinners were once crafted with care and served with ceremony.